Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Inês, I'm an artist and illustrator, and I went to Paris recently for the first time ever in my life. I absolutely loved it. This city is stunning, so full of life and sparkle, it's so artistic, and it completely surpassed my expectations. So for this video I decided to share my experience of visiting Paris and its most iconic sites, as well as creating sketches for the memories I hold dear from this trip. I tried to sketch a little bit while I was there, however, since I only went for 2.5 days, it wasn't possible for me to sketch as much as I wanted. So now that I'm back, I still want to draw and keep those memories alive, so join me in a sketchbook drawing session where I log memories of my trip and tell you some interesting facts and experiences that I had while I was visiting this city of lights. So I'll start by drawing the iconic sites that were the most memorable for me in this trip, and after that I will get into the memories of each place and do a specific drawing of each place. So the first one is obviously the beautiful Eiffel Tower. It's the most iconic one, and then it is followed by the Montmartre area that here is represented by the beautiful Sacré-Cœur Basilica. It was a really cool sketch to do. I'm not really very used to draw these types of things, to be honest, and architecture, but it was quite a good challenge. Then I moved into the Notre Dame Cathedral that unfortunately I only got to see from afar, but it was very, very beautiful. I'm just still sad that it got burned. And then I ended up with the Venus of Milo sculpture to represent the Louvre, and one of the best things about the Louvre for me that were the sculptures. So after landing in the city, we went right to drop our luggage in the hotel, and we decided to go right into the most iconic building of them all, the Eiffel Tower. And basically, it is a wrought iron lattice tower that was named after Gustave Eiffel, its engineer and builder. A fun fact is that it was part of a temporary exhibit, and it was almost torn down and scrapped in 1909. So city officials opted to save it after recognizing its value as a radio telegraph station. So I think it's quite a fun fact about the tower, because if you think about it, what would be Paris without the Eiffel Tower? It's such a landmark for this city, and it would be a very different reality. The tower has 3 levels for visitors, with restaurants and amazing views in the first and second level. The tickets can be purchased to ascend by the stairs or lift for the first 2 levels. I decided to go by stairs because it was way cheaper, and I thought it wasn't that bad to climb, but oh boy, it was way more difficult than I expected. Also because I went there right after landing in the airport, so I created this memory of the never-ending steps. I think it was 674 steps to be exact, but the rewarding feeling of reaching the top, not the top because I went only to the 2nd floor, but reaching our destination and see Paris from above, it was so beautiful and such a beautiful sight. So I think it was totally worth it, but it is definitely a memory that I will cherish, and also think about the pain that I've got in my legs after a few days, because I'm not used to go up to so many stairs at once. But it was super good and I don't regret it, but I think if I ever go back to the Eiffel Tower, I will definitely go by lift. This sketch was actually interesting to do. It's, as I said, I'm not that used to draw any architecture or anything regarding with buildings. I do it from time to time, but normally I always focus a lot on characters. So it was interesting to just change a little bit and do something a bit different, and I actually did enjoy how it looks in the end. Montmartre is a large hill in Paris, and it gives its name to the surrounding historic district as well. It is primarily known for its artistic history and for the white-domed Basilica of Sacré-Cœur. While we were going up the hill to reach the Montmartre hilltop, We found a patisserie called Sébastien Godard, where we bought absolutely delicious macarons. The lady that sold us the macaron was super nice and helped us with our French, and after that we got to properly visit the Montmartre district, to see the Sacré-Cœur Basilica from inside and out, really enjoyed the views and our amazing macarons at the end of Rue de l'Abreuvoir. I'm sorry for my French, it's not amazing, it's a bit rusty, but honestly it was such an amazing time during this trip. I still think about those macarons because they were absolutely delicious. So I decided in this sketch to represent that next to the basilica because it truly is one of the memories I have from that specific place in Paris. The Louvre is the world's most visited museum and a historic landmark in Paris. It is the home of Mona Lisa and Venus de Milo, but not only that. For me, one of the things that struck me the most about the Louvre, besides its amazing paintings, was the architecture and sculptures. I absolutely loved how organized the museum was. It is gigantic. It can definitely get really busy, so we were actually really lucky because we went quite early in the day, so it wasn't too crowded and it was easier to enjoy everything. One of the sculptures that struck me the most was the Winged Victory, the one that I'm actually sketching here, because of how dynamically beautiful it was and how it was displayed at the top of the main staircase. If you're an art lover, the Louvre is an absolutely go-to place in Paris. I totally understand why it's so famous and I totally loved to go there. I will definitely go back. It's not a one-time thing for me. There's still a lot of things that I want to properly see and visit in this museum, but definitely this sculpture for me, it was absolutely stunning. It's so dynamic. It's one of the memories that I have from the Louvre, besides obviously Mona Lisa, Venus de Milo, which are artworks that we know and everyone knows in the whole world, but this specific one for me really struck a chord. The Palais Garnier, also known as Opéra Garnier, was built for the Paris Opera. It has been called probably the most famous opera house in the world. This is at least partly due to its use as a setting for the Phantom of the Opera. It was constructed in the Napoleon III style, which was highly eclectic and borrowed from the Baroque era, the Classicism, and Renaissance architecture blended together. From the grand staircase to the golden grand foyer to the exquisite auditorium, this building is an absolute masterpiece. I decided to sketch the moment I looked into the ceiling of the auditorium because it reminded me of my grandfather, since it was painted by one of his biggest inspirations as a painter, Marc Chagall. I stayed admiring the architecture of this building for a long time, and I still feel it's one of the most beautiful buildings I've ever visited in my life. I feel like there's so many beautiful buildings that are made today, but I still feel that I have a soft spot for these types of older buildings because it really has a different magic. So obviously I didn't do a lot of detailing in this particular sketch, I tried to just capture an impression of what the architecture was and my own feelings of absorbing all that beauty. That was probably my pose the entire time, always looking up to the beautiful ceilings, to the beautiful architecture. And basically I wanted to just capture what I felt when I saw Marc Chagall's painting of the auditorium ceiling. When I went to visit my grandfather, it was not long after I went to Paris. I showed him photos of the place and he loved it. I don't think he ever been to the Palais Garnier, but he went to Paris in his youth, and at 93 years old he could name every place he had been and the memories that he had from that time. And it was so precious for me to hear him and share my own memories and experiences of Paris with him, and it's something that I will forever cherish. So yeah, I think this memory is also very nice, and I love that I had the opportunity to capture this moment and share it with my grandfather. This whole sketchbook drawing session felt quite cathartic. I think there's lots of ways to preserve memories of moments, places, and people, but as an artist, drawing is one of my favorites. I shall look upon these sketches and remember every moment I shared with you guys, and that for me is a blessing. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to subscribe and click the like button. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!